The Mercury series of mice marks Gravastar's first foray into the world of gaming peripherals, and oh boy, they sure knocked it out of the park with this one. I mean, just look at it. Design-wise, this has to be one of the most unique and visually stunning mice out there, especially if you're a fan of the futuristic aesthetic which Gravastar is known for. The first and most prominent feature here is of course its fairly distinct hollowed out chassis, which moves away from the more traditional honeycomb design and goes for an extraterrestrial exoskeleton kind of vibe. Besides that, like with most of their products, Gravastar packed the M2 with a bunch of larger and smaller details that complement its overall design. The side panels feature these exhaust-like grills, the main buttons are uniquely separated and have this cool little quote and some branding, the rear side boasts a small Gravastar logo, and even the mouse wheel carries a beautiful pattern that seamlessly aligns with the mouse's chassis. Essentially, there is hardly a segment of the mouse that hasn't received attention, with each detail elevating it far above the competition. Another noteworthy design feature is the transparent beetle-like casing that covers the components beneath the main chassis. Not only does it protect the internals from dust and dirt, but it also serves as a diffuser for RGB lighting. As if the mouse didn't look great already, this implementation of the RGB makes it even more stunning no matter the light mode you use. Gravastar clearly meant for the light to be appreciated while the mouse is just idling on a desk, as they give you the option for the RGB to turn off when the mouse is moved, seeing as you'll be covering it with your hand anyway. The underside is kept relatively simple, with the most prominent feature being 5 large Teflon feet that allow the mouse to glide effortlessly across all surfaces. In the middle of the largest one, you have the always welcome compartment for the wireless USB dongle, which means you don't have to worry about losing it when the mouse is not in use. Just above the sensor, you also have a small switch that enables you to toggle the mouse between wired as well as the 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth wireless modes. What might come as a surprise is that despite its hollow chassis, the M2 doesn't fall into the ultralight category, weighing in a total of 78 grams. Of course, this is still relatively lightweight, and the mouse has a good weight distribution, providing a very satisfying feel for both casual use and gaming. Now, although the fully plastic hollow design might initially raise durability concerns, I'm pleased to say that the M2 doesn't have any issues in that regard. No matter how much pressure is applied to any component, the mouse will not produce any unpleasant creaking sounds, as all components seem to be pretty much flawlessly assembled, with the entire chassis exuding a real sense of sturdiness. Now, despite its overall symmetrical design, the position of the side buttons firmly categorizes the M2 as a right-handed mouse. As far as size goes, the mouse is 124mm long, 65.5mm wide, and 39.5mm tall at its highest point. Although its length and height firmly place it in the medium-sized category, the mouse is noticeably narrower than most of its competitors, which definitely impacts comfort in some situations. While the design is symmetrical and the mouse has a relatively low profile, the reduced finger real estate means that the mouse is best suited for those who use a claw grip. In contrast, it may be quite uncomfortable for those who use a palm grip, as there's very little room to actually place your hand on, especially if your hand is larger than average. Now, when it comes to buttons, the M2 features a relatively standard configuration with 6 buttons in total. The 2 main clickers, the mouse wheel that also serves as a button, as well as the DPI and 2 side buttons. Although most of the buttons fall comfortably within reach, I did find the side buttons were somewhat too far back while also lacking separation, making it sometimes difficult to discern whether you're pressing the front or the rear button. The mouse wheel has well-defined, relatively shallow increments and is completely silent when used. As for the other buttons, I'll let you listen for yourself. What's great is that the M2 is not just style over substance. As I mentioned earlier, the mouse is highly versatile when it comes to connecting with various devices, as you can use the USB-C cable, a 2.4 GHz wireless dongle, or Bluetooth. Most of my time was spent in wireless mode, and I connected it via cable only when it needed to be charged. This entailed using Bluetooth for productivity on my laptop and dongle on my PC for gaming, since that comes with the added benefit of 1K polling rate. Using the mouse this way was generally a breeze, as I didn't notice any lag or slowdowns at any point, no matter what I was doing. What makes the experience even better is the top-of-the-line POD 3395 sensor, which goes up to 2600 dpi and has a 650 IPS tracking speed. Numbers aside, this is a sensor that, along with reliable wireless modes, offers excellent performance and accuracy, whether you're playing a fast-paced competitive shooter or a slower single-player title. Even better, the POD 3395 is highly energy efficient, and when paired with the mouse's 300 mAh battery, it can provide solid hands-on time. Of course, this will depend on the wireless mode, RGB setting and similar factors, but generally expect 2 to 3 days of use with the dongle and 4 to 5 days using Bluetooth. The mouse can be used normally while charging, but a real missed opportunity for such a futuristic mouse is that Gravastar didn't design some sort of a stand that would make charging less of a hassle and an even cooler experience. The M2 also comes with its own software, and although this is Gravastar's first foray into hardware peripherals, it's a relatively well-designed, lightweight little program. Not only does it look better than what most dedicated gaming peripheral manufacturers offer, but it also has all the functionalities you would expect. In addition to the ability to create profiles and macro combinations, there's also the option to remap each button, as well as to fine-tune the DPI settings, polling rate, lift-off distance, and RGB. There are also more advanced features such as ripple control, angle snapping and motion sync, which will be most beneficial to gamers looking to extract every last bit of precision from such a high-end sensor. The software also displays battery level, and there's even a long distance mode that sacrifices some battery life to improve the receiver signal and thus boost the distance at which you can reliably use the mouse. The only criticism is that the mouse is detected only in wired or dongle wireless modes, but overall it's an excellent software package, especially considering this is Gravastar's first such software. Ultimately, I can safely say that the M2 is one great mouse, especially when you consider it's the first one ever to be made by Gravastar. And sure, while the ergonomics might not be for everyone, it's still well worth for the out-of-this-world design and top-of-the-line specs. The best part, however, at $80, it's priced significantly lower than most competitors that bring the same or even much less to the table. If you like what you've seen in this video, as always, the product link will be included in the description down below. And also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to KeenGamer for more reviews just like this one.